On a Creality Ender 3 or Ender 3 Pro, you've got your X-axis gantry, and it can be adjusted on the right side to go up or down via this eccentric nut. However, there are cases, such as mine, where no matter how much you adjust it, it will always be higher than the left side. Now, this can happen for a variety of reasons. It could be because the frame on the Z-axis, these two pieces of metal, these extrusions, are not the same length. That's just due to Creality being a budget manufacturer and the Ender 3 being the lower tier of that budget brand. Sometimes it's just not right, and you have to shim one side or the other to make them the same height. However, there are other situations where in manufacturing they just didn't adjust things right. And in this case, it has to do with the left side. Now, I've disassembled this in order to get access to these two bolts right here. Now, because of the way they made this, they made it so that instead of it being, well, it was actually just flat down this way, but that caused the X-axis to sag, or not sag, but to be skewed upwards, and you could just never adjust it. You would bind on the right side constantly. So what you can do is access these bolts back here, adjust them, and then kind of countersink that, or counter angle that sag. Now, one thing to note about this part right here is these two bolts are put in by Creality, and they are put in extremely tight. You'll probably need to go and use a heat gun to expand the metal so that you can loosen up the bolts. If you don't, you'll just do like I did, and you'll strip the heads of the stock bolts. Luckily, I was able to get them out by using some vice grips and gripping around them, but just be aware of that. So the X-axis was essentially, and I'm exaggerating the angle here, it was like this. So by adjusting the side that was making this angle upwards, because we'll say that the left-hand side is the pivot angle, or the pivot point, we're essentially forcing it down like that. So it's annoying that you'd have to do this, but that's another reason why it could possibly happen. And there's a lot of little adjustments like that that need to be done on budget printers, and that's just the reality of it. The reality of Creality.